your fucking cameras off. You little prick, got kids in the fucking car.
Well, get in the inside lane then. Get in the fucking inside lane. To the hog in the outside. Fucking wanker.
Hello everyone, I am Slow Rider. This is my not quite the normal world that I am in. I have seen this video online, I've asked permission to use it, and I've been granted that permission, fortunately. As you've seen already, it's of a road rage incident, which I don't condone in any way. I think road rage is a terrible, terrible thing. It really shouldn't happen. But in order for a road rage incident to happen, there has to have been something beforehand. And it could be something really minor, really petty. But there's always something. Because otherwise they don't pick you as a target, they pick someone else. So what I want to do is go through this video and try and see where these incidents may have happened and maybe what we could have done differently had we come up with this situation again. The video itself is provided by SJ and OCD, the road life of a British biker couple. Please go across to see their other videos. This is not meant as anything nasty towards them, so if you are going over there, please be polite, be good humans. If you have any nasty comments to leave, well, I mean, don't leave them, frankly, but if you have to leave them anywhere, leave them on this video. Get it out of your system that way. If you want to go across and see any of their other videos, please do so. I want to treat this as a learning experience. I don't want any negativity necessarily. Just, you know, let's look at this and work out from it, as I say, what we can do differently, but also how we can adapt our own riding styles to perhaps take account of these situations. Maybe you see this and you think, oh, there's nothing wrong with what he did, and then maybe I tell you something about how I would do it differently, and you think, oh, okay, no, that's a fair point. If you have any disagreements at any point, please put them down in the comments section. Again, I would ask that you be polite, be good humans. But that aside, let's jump straight into this video. So from the start, we're in the right-hand lane. We're going to shift over to the left-hand lane. He's positioning for a roundabout ahead. Two cars are in the right-hand lane, which he assumes to be turning right. One of them didn't. As we can see here, the white mocha up ahead stayed in the right-hand lane, but took the bypass. Yes, he notes there, he should pull into the left-hand lane. Yes, he should. I'm going to pause the video here for a moment as we come onto the straight section. Yes, absolutely, he should pull into the left-hand lane, but I think it's fairly obvious from the fact he took a straight-ahead route on the roundabout that he's going to stay in the right-hand lane. Whether that's right or wrong, you know, the highway code says we should move across to the left-hand lane once we've finished any overtaking and such like, unless we've got a reason to be in that right-hand lane, for example, turning right. There are no junctions on this road for quite a way, so he's got no excuse for being in the right-hand lane. But what I would say at this point is that we can't really tell them what they're doing wrong. What we have to do as bike riders and other road users is look at what they're doing and say, how can I act safely around this other person? How can I stay alive? That's your primary focus. How can I get to where I'm going safely? And I think at this point, where I've paused it now, we're at a distance where we have to start making those decisions about how we're going to, if we want to get past, how we're going to get past them, how we're going to interact with them, if we're going to interact at all. Now, I would say the first option for me, if we're catching this car, is to stay in this left-hand lane. It's the simplest option, and for me it's the safest option. If we stay in the middle of the lane, perhaps on the left-hand side of this left lane, giving them plenty of space, that's primary option for me. If we're catching them, we'll go past in this lane. It's simple. There's nothing really for anyone else to be getting enraged about. I know some people don't like passing on the left, as it would be called. I wouldn't see this as passing on the left. I would see this as staying in my lane, and the other lane is going at a lesser speed. But if you want to call it passing on the left, so long as it's done safely and with due care and with consideration to other road users, it's not illegal. We can do it. we just got to make sure that we're safe in the way that we're doing it. So we've got to be aware that that car's there. We've got to watch out for any manoeuvres he might make. He might decide to move across into the left-hand lane. That's absolutely fine, but we've got to be aware of that and react to it if we decide we're going to go past. The second option is safer option, and that's that we slow down to match his speed. We stay in an area where he can see us in his mirrors, not go into his blind spot, perhaps stay a second or two back from the back of the car and just match his speed. That's the second option. The downside of this option, obviously, is that we can't make our own progress. We have to wait for them. Let's see what this biker does. Now I've stopped it here. We are that little bit closer. We are catching him very slightly at this point. But the motorbike rider has decided to move into the right-hand lane. He's indicating to move over to the right. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm going to be honest with you. We're not overtaking anything. Regardless of what this person is doing, we should be doing the right thing as best we can. Irrespective of whether they're doing something wrong, we should, we've got our own road, we've got our own vehicle. Let's do the right thing. He's decided to move across, so let's see what he does. It says he doesn't want to undertake if at all possible. Well, okay, fair enough, but I've given you an option for that. We're several seconds on now. I'm going to pause here and look how close we are. If there's one lane, you wouldn't be this close to the car in front. If we were both in the left lane, we wouldn't be this close to the car in front. I know the camera can distort range, but I'm looking at things like the length of these dashed white lines in the centre of the road and how far apart they are. When we're pretty close to this car. If they decide to throw down the anchors and brake sharply, we've got nowhere to go. We're straight in the back of them. We're not being safe here. So, I don't know what the biker's thinking. I haven't asked them, but it seems to me that they're pressurising this car to move to the left. Hey, you shouldn't be in this lane, move across. And I think we have to get out of the mindset of, let's teach this other car, this other road user, how to use the road. We have to get out of that mindset, let them do their thing, and just progress past them safely. We're not doing that at the moment. And I think in terms of building up rage, for the road rage incident, we've deliberately moved into their lane behind them, and we're pressuring them to do something. We're tailgating them. We've got an entire lane we could use, but we're tailgating them. That's my first thought here, is that we're just way too close. And as I don't want people that close up behind me, but he's almost certainly not going to be happy with a biker tailgating him. He might even be a driver that knows that bikers hate car drivers tailgating them and moan at people tailgating all the time. So we're doing to him what other people might do to us, and we don't like it. So why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Let's move on. We see here now he's decided he's going to undertake, finally. Look at where we are. Now I've paused it again. We're not even in the right-hand wheel track of the left-hand lane here. If we look at where the camera is, where his hand is at the bottom of the picture, where the mirror is on the bike, the camera's over this white line. It's over the centre of the lane, which means we're between the centre of the lane and this right-hand wheel track. I reckon if we put our arm out, we could touch that car. Honestly, I think we're that close to it. It's difficult to tell with the way the cameras are these days, but that's how close it seems to me that they are. It's a shame the rear camera's on the wrong side, really. If the rear camera was on the other side, on this side, we would actually get a better view, I think, of how close we actually are. Bear in mind, look, if we look at this rear camera here, we've got luggage on the back of the bike, which means the back of the bike is slightly wider than where this camera is. That at the back of the bike potentially is in their lane. That's too close. If we're going to go through this and we've moved over to their lane and we've decided they're not going to move across to the left lane again, and we go to undertake, get in the centre of the lane, get to the left-hand side of the lane. Get away from them. Because at this point, if they suddenly turn left, assuming they don't hit us, If we get surprised, we're shooting off into one of these lampposts, or you know that we're hitting that curb and spilling our guts all over the grass, and the bike's sliding off down the road. We don't want that. This is our pride and joy. And yes, them doing that would be terribly bad, but remember, we've just tailgated them. We're now moving up very close up the side of them. There's a very real possibility that rage is building inside them already. And if we're not the first person to have pissed them off, if there's an argument going on in that car, we are making ourselves the target of that rage. Let's move on. We'll move to the rear camera here, and I'm going to stop it very quickly again. Look, how close are we? Look at these white lines that we've got in the centre of the road. How close are we to that car? Also take a look at where the positioning of that car now. The car has moved across to the right. That tells us that they think we got too close to them. They've had to move out the way. We haven't necessarily seen it that way. Maybe we thought we got plenty of room. But they didn't think that way. They've moved their car. So again, we have to wonder, is this another point where the rage is now building in that car? Again, are we making ourselves a target for that car to come after us? Let's roll on, and we'll see what happens next, because having spent this time sort of saying, oh, this car was in the right-hand side and we couldn't do anything, and even the note here, you know, he thinks he didn't impede the driver when he made his manoeuvre, and he progresses on. I think he did impede the driver. But, yeah, if we just look at this for a second more, and we haven't moved back into that left-hand lane. We have a go at that driver for being in the right-hand lane to start with. And okay, there's nothing in that left-hand lane. There's nothing that we would be impeding by being in this right-hand lane. But by the same token, we've told them that they should be in the left-hand lane. You know, we've said they're in the wrong lane, they should be in the left-hand lane. It would have made it easier for us to pass. We should be in that left-hand lane too, because we're not overtaking anything. We're not turning right because there's no right turn here at any point. Why are we in this right-hand lane? So again, we've tailgated them, we've undertaken close by, we've pulled across in front of them, and now we're sitting in the lane just as they have. If there is any rage going on in the car, I mean, I probably would have said stupid biker and, you know, left it at that. If I was a calm driver at that point. If I was having an argument with that car, if I had a long, busy day at work and it's frustrating and I'm on my way home, and then a biker does that to me. To put it another way, if that car was you, and this bike was a bee, you wouldn't want the bee buzzing around you, would you? You'd be flapping to whop it away. And if it came back, it would be an irritation. Let's think about this for a minute. You know, we're putting ourselves in a position of danger at every point there, and then we're zooming away in the same lane with little care for, hey, we should be in the left-hand lane. We should be obeying the highway code. Maybe we are a bit hot-headed ourselves at this point. That's entirely possible. We're not really thinking straight. So we've moved into this lane and we're just getting away from them now. Well, now, how do we think they feel? This is just a learning point, as I say. I don't want anyone to sort of go and argue with anyone. Maybe you've got your own thoughts on this particular clip, and you want to tell. If you want to tell me I'm wrong, please put it in the comments section. Mark this is disliked if you really want to, but let's learn from this. Let's look at situations and how we can improve our riding, and let's be better people. Let's be better riders. Let's do things safely. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, please go and look at some of his other videos. SJ and OCD, the road life of a British biking couple. Go and look at their videos. Like them, subscribe, whatever. Be nice people. Be polite. I will catch you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.